All right. Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for watching. My name is Nicole Lynn, and I am the founder and CEO of the Collective Identity Mentoring. And today we have three very special guests with us. We have Wynter Floyd and her mom, Tiffany. And we have a very special guest. Hi. And we have a very special guest, Chanel Rhodes, who is also a cowgirl, like Tiffany and them. So there you go. And we're going to start with the introductions. I'd like Jasmine.
Yeah, so hello everyone. Good to see everyone on the call. My name is Jasmine Bass, and I am the vice chair for the Collective Identity.
Okay, and Avia.
Hi guys, my name is Avia Wen, and I am the treasurer for the Collective Identity.
And last but not least, we have.
Hello, thank you for having me. My name is Naisha Arrington. I am the executive director of the Collective Identity.
Perfect. Now, so the reason why we're here is because we're here to support Wynter. We are all Black women, as you can see, and Wynter is a young Black woman that is breaking amazing barriers by becoming the first African American, not just African American woman, but the first African American period to be admitted to, all right, now I'm gonna try to get this right, the Fresno State University rodeo team. Is that right, Wynter? Yeah?
Yes, you said it right.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so she is going to be the first one actually admitted to their she has been admitted to their program, the first in history. So excuse me, I was gonna say Naisha. Wynter is from here, she's from Compton, she's from local Californian, and we just wanted everybody to know exactly who she is. So what we're going to do is we're going to open it up just so you can tell us a little about you. So first question is, Wynter, how did you get into being a horseback riding, into a barrel rider? That's right?
Barrel racer.
Barrel racer, there you go, sorry.
We're all learning.
I don't know anything about this, so.
No, you're fine. So basically, I got on my first horse at 3 years old. So that's like 14 years ago because I'm 17. Then I started competing at 12, which is 5 years ago. And barrel racing, I got in an incident involving with breaking my thumb. Softball was my main sport. And the pressure of the ball hitting my catching hand would just cause my thumb to have pain. And little do I know, instead of sitting at home, I got on the horse and I'm like, I want to go ahead and be a barrel racer, basically. I've been wanting to do it so much, or for a long time, and I had the opportunities, but I never put the effort to it. And then I'm like, well, I can't do nothing else, so let me go ahead and barrel race. So that's how I got into being a barrel racer.
I have one follow-up question for you on that, and that is, what attracted you to it? Because I understand, like Chanel, which we're definitely going to get into, does a different kind of horseback riding or racing or riding. But how is it that, what is it about barrel racing that just, where you knew it was for you?
Well, for barrel racing, I always attended the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo every year. Sadly, we did not have one this year. But I will always watch the African-American ladies hit them sharp turns around the 3 barrels. And I'm like, I really want to do that. I was like, I want to do it. Never put the effort to it. That when my thumb got broke, I'm like, you know what, let me go ahead and do it and try to make it the best of it. And I actually did it. I have my 10-year-old, which I started racing with her at 5 years old. And we basically taught each other how to hit the sharp turns, do all this. We basically grew with each other with the help of others that were in the field and stuff. And yeah, that's how I really just got into it.
That's awesome. I think you are amazing. So, but Tiffany, I have a question for you. As far as she's going to do this amazing thing, like she's breaking a lot of a barrier here. What are your concerns?
First, we need to get her out there. And will she be able to maintain this, I'm not going to say lifestyle, but it's a lot to it when she gets out there, you know. Is she going to let the distractions, because there is going to be distractions, because everybody's going to want to know, what is she doing? Who is she? You know, why did she get to come? You know, why is she on our team? You know, things like that. And my concern is that she not get out there and ignore this, put the blinders on and be like, let them watch. I always say when they're watching, that means you're doing something right, you know? So
Good advice.
I need her
Awesome.
to go out there and be focused and know and pay attention and stay on the routine and be the best, because we're expected to not have to be at our best, you know.
Right.
And this comes
Yeah.
natural for her. If you've ever seen her on the horse way before anybody worked with her, it was like, so you sure she's never did this before? And I'm like, You know, so she's a natural athlete.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
yeah, it's just I need her to go out there and be focused.
Cool. All right. Naisha, I believe you had a question. Naisha? I don't think you can hear me. You can't hear us.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Wynter, it's so inspiring to hear your story. You inspire me, and that's a beautiful thing. I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Of course, young lady. What is the most thing you're passionate about, looking forward to in your journey?
Basically, I just want to make my name known and Compton known, because everybody think of or downplay Compton as well as they downplay LA, but they believe Compton is just all hood and ghetto. And it's like when you say it's like, okay, that's what you think, but you really haven't met Compton. Compton is very adventurous and it's very interesting. Yes, it may be some stuff that goes on in a certain part of Compton, but that's not in all of Compton. So I just want to see myself succeed, make a name for my city, make a name for myself, and make a name for all the other African-American ladies that just want to go out there and do their best.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
awesome. Love it. That's awesome. Yes, we need more positive representation of Compton other than NWA. And yeah, because there's beautiful things in Compton.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I guess, Naisha, I think you're...
My next question for you is, what have you experienced, or what have you observed as being one of the few Black cowgirls in the industry? So like, what has been your experience? What have you observed? What's your vibe all about in the cowgirl industry?
So the cowgirl industry, first of all, you're already like downplayed because you're a female, but on top of that, not only am I a female, I'm an African-American female, and we also get downplayed too. And a lot of people, when you're out there, they don't expect you to go out there and at least beat their darters, match the times with their darters. For the other races that's out there, they like to know, where are you from? Who do you train with? Where you get your horse from? Oh, can I buy this horse? If the horse is just doing her best. And you really just get the stares. The stares do irritate me sometimes. Sometimes I have to put my earphones in and blast music in my ear just to get it over with. Or sometimes I even have to go out from, like, I go to Riverside and Norco, but sometimes I go separately to, say, like Atkins or Orange Park Acres. Like, that was my first time going out there last week, or the week before last week. I'm sorry about that. And it was nothing. Everybody was just like, you free out here, rather than in the other areas I race, I get the stares and stuff. Everybody will applaud you. If you did your stuff, they give you the round of applause. But it's really just the stares that get down on you and the questions.
I feel you.
That's dope. Actually, and I realized that I forgot, I wanted to ask Chanel, what are some of your experiences and so forth?
Okay. Yes, I agree with, I agree with everything she said. The stares are, you eventually, you go to enough of these competitions, you eventually just start to ignore them, but you know that they're happening. So I barrel race too, but I don't barrel race as much as I do hunter jumpers. So I don't know if you all are familiar with hunter jumpers. They wear the blue coat, breeches, tall boots, and they jump over the obstacles. So
I have to know.
So both of my horses actually do that. And I remember going to my first hunter jumper competition. It was completely and utterly nerve wracking. I was the only African American there. There's even less that compete in hunter jumpers than there is in more Western. So I find myself the only one, usually at these competitions, if not maybe one or two other people that are African American. And I've had this lady was actually she was wearing an iridescent shirt, so I saw her. She was standing from afar, but she was just staring at me while I was taking my lesson with my trainer at this competition. Usually we travel up the night before. And she's just sitting there with her arms crossed and just staring at me. And I knew she just watched me the whole time while I was taking my lesson with my trainer. It was very awkward, very uncomfortable. And I was keeping my horses there overnight too. So I'm just like, okay. That was strange. And
what's going to happen?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So no one's ever touched my horses. I mean, I feel like most people in the horse industry, they love animals, and so they respect yours for them. So, and also too, I don't know, Wynter, do you do gymkhana?
Yes.
I don't know. Yes. Okay. So I was doing I used to do a lot of gymkhanas in Orange County, and I was only African American at this particular one. And this guy comes up to me. I'm sitting on my brown and white paint. And he comes up to me and he goes, "Is it a coincidence that your horse is black?" And I'm just like, what? He said that just to throw me off. And I'm not gonna lie, it kind of did, because I, again, being the only African American there, I'm just like, well, how should I really feel after you said that to me? So my fiance flew off the handle. He was mad, and I had to calm him down. He'd never heard anybody talk to me like that before. He's Hispanic, so he's, different culture. But his daughter, the guy that said that to me, his daughter came up to me. She goes, "I am so sorry, but he is a little prejudiced." And then she was trying to
we're supposed to be okay with that.
Yeah.
And what's a little prejudice? What's a little?
Yes.
Like, oh, you know what I mean?
It's not a little, it's all the way
honestly,
prejudice.
That's how you make excuses for an animal. Like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, he's not trained yet. Like that is not okay when it comes to a grown man. I'm sorry.
I love
That's
that.
just despicable.
Yes.
But
Right.
it's weird because with Wynter, it's not the kids that come and say something. I'll look up and she's hemmed in the corner with someone questioning her about her horse. And she takes it like a champ. Me, on the other hand, I probably would have said something smart or read them or something, but different days, different times, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it's not the kids. It's not the kids, it's the adults. Like, for example, in Palos Verdes, when we first did a gymkhana out there, it was a white lady, sat back on her horse, watched Wynter, kept watching her, whatever. But then I watched the lady watch my daughter, but then I watched the lady too to see where her angle was. So then I seen her talking to Wynter in the back, like in the corner, because I feel like, to me personally, we have to come in a little corner or something to get our or relax, or okay, nobody's looking at, you kind of find your little zen spot or whatever. They've already have taken it all up, and they give you the little looks when you pull in and on the side or whatever. But when I seen the lady questioning her, and I don't think Wynter realized what I was doing, but I asked Wynter, I said, "What did she say to you?" And she said, "Oh, she was asking me about my horse and this and another." And they do it in a question, kind of be playful way, just to find out what their competition is like. It's sad, because I'm like, did you do anybody else like that? And I'm like, you gonna let this little horse from Compton beat you?
They don't expect us to have, some people just don't expect us to have anything nice, because I've been there too. Ask me questions about what kind of bit I use and where'd you get your horse from and who is this, and they do what, and they jump to, it's just, you have to, so getting down to being by yourself at the competition, yes, put your earphones in, listen to your favorite song. I even sing when I'm riding, just so I can slow down my heart rate, because it's like you're nervous for the competition, and then you're nervous because other people are watching you. Then there's some of those people don't want you to do well because of who you are. Just because of who you are. So you just, you get in your zone. That's what I get in my zone. I stand with my horse. I talk to him. I pray with him. I know it sounds silly. Don't laugh at me.
No,
I
it
pray
doesn't.
with my horse. I lay hands on him or her, who it depends on who I'm riding, at wherever I'm riding, just so I can calm myself down and we can go in there with a level head. So, and then Wynter's got a really nice horse. So I know a lot of people are going to come up to her and say whatever, you know, and they may not like that particularly, but you know, she continues. I believe that she's going to continue to do well. I know she's going to make this team. I know she's going to kill it. I can't wait to watch.
Well,
Sadly, you put your
we
black
have to
girl
retire her horse.
Go ahead.
We have to retire her horse at the end of the year because her horse has an injury. So we're going to be looking for a new horse probably by the end of the year or the beginning of the year because her horse is injured. So these are things we have to deal with too.
Yeah, well, anybody that is
just
out
putting
there.
it out there, Chanel.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm also putting it out there for anyone watching. You know what I mean? Like, she's going to be looking for a horse. So if you know of anyone or I don't know how this works, but please just, they're going to put the email and all the contact information so you can reach out to us and we can make sure definitely that both Tiffany and Wynter get all of the information. So if you know of any place, somebody that got some good horses, I don't know where you go to get the horses, but
Wynter definitely knows some people with some good horses. So
I'm sure she does. I'm sure. Look, let me tell you, the first time I got on a horse, I was in my 30s and I screamed, and it turned out to be a pony, but it was big and I was on top of it. So that's all I know. So okay, well, Wynter, do you have any questions for us? I think we talked earlier and you had come up with some questions. So want to shoot them over to us?
Yeah, so my first question is, how did you guys deal with time management and stuff? And how did y'all work with y'all schedule?
Okay, so who wants to take that first?
Yeah, so I'll jump in. Definitely planner. You want to have a planner, whether that is like a paper and pen type of planner, or if it's using your phone, but really being able to utilize and know when things are due. We were just talking about this, like when I was in high school, I was not that great of a performer. But when I got to college, I was like, I'm gonna try to graduate with honors. And I really just got on top of my game. So I really like utilizing your syllabus, knowing when there are due dates, and writing that down or putting it on your phone as a reminder. And I would say at the beginning of each week, even if it's like Monday morning or if it's Sunday night, like knowing, okay, what's going to be due for me this week, or what are my top priorities that I need to get done for this week. And then I would also say reward yourself. So if you find like, okay, I did all the tasks I needed to, so I'm going to, treat myself to a coffee, or I'm going to do X, Y, Z, but giving yourself some type of incentive to make sure that you get done what you need to. And I would also say just knowing your why, like, why am I doing this? Why am I trying to get these tasks done? What is my end goal? Because there will be moments where different things will be thrown at you, or you'll have people that will try to distract you. Being okay with saying no and just knowing like, hey, this is what I'm trying to get done so that I can graduate. And I think when you keep that in mind, that'll keep you going when there's those late nights of studying, or those are the tips that I would definitely offer.
Yeah, I think Jasmine, I'm going to just piggyback off that. Jasmine really put it perfectly. I went back to school. I was like Jasmine. I was a horrible student. Like, nobody got any worse than me. If I got a D, I was like, girl, I passed. Hey. So it was like, hey, But what I found is when I got to college, I became super like studious. I was that annoying person that sat at the front of the class when people asked me stuff. I was like, don't talk to me, But what worked is that I had 2 notebooks, and this actually helped with time management and returning, because when you're in class, you take certain notes, right? And then you're busy and you're furiously taking notes, and you're just like writing everything down. And then you take the time, and it also helps you study because you retain the information to transfer it into your final notebook. And then all of the dates that they said, like Jasmine said, that's when you can take the time to make sure that you put it into your phone, that you're aware of it, you're on top of it. And so that really for me was the best, because I knew that I was going to set aside time to transfer these notes, make them make sense. So that way I can study better and I can have everything in order. And, you know, when you're taking notes, you're just really like writing, you're writing a lot. And so sometimes they're not most clear. So if you want to just transfer them over, that was good for me. Another thing in terms of time management that really, really worked was sticking to a routine. I knew what I was doing that day. Now, if things came up and things changed, that was cool. You know what I mean? I was very flexible, and you have to be flexible and adjustable. Trust me. I got a whole car repossessed in the middle of my junior year. So you have to be flexible. So one day you're driving and the next day you have to take the bus. But as long as you maintain that ultimate goal and you're flexible and you know what you're doing, I knew what I was doing in that morning. I knew where I was going. I knew that even though I didn't have a car anymore, I knew, all right, well, I still had an 8 a.m. class. And I have to be at that 8 a.m. class. And then I have study groups and so forth. So time management is really just keeping a schedule, sticking to it, and having a routine. That really helps me. And then, like Jasmine said, you have to reward yourself as well. Make sure that you reward yourself. So that's a good one. Any other questions or?
How did I had a question. How did you reward yourself?
How did I reward myself?
No, how did Jasmine say she rewarded herself?
Okay, go, yes, okay.
It would vary. You know, sometimes it would be like, I'm gonna, you know, hang out with my friends, or like I said, I would treat myself to a coffee, or it's like, I'm gonna do a self-care night, you know, get those little like sleeping masks that you get at Target. And just like, yeah, just do something nice for myself. Or maybe it's sleeping in a little bit more on Saturday. Okay. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy.
So this is saying you're a college student and you're broke. So every little thing is a reward. So for me, a reward was sometimes a foot long from Subway. I swear to God, a $5 Subway foot long after it was my jam. So anything small. Yeah, you're right though. Okay. Any other questions you guys have? Follow up? Go ahead.
Yes. Have you ever experienced any race discrimination, and how have you overcame it?
That's a good one.
It sure is.
So who wants to go first? Avia, you want to go or not?
I mean, yes and no. I think I've experienced the microaggressions, but I have been lucky in that I've never experienced the, you know, outright, you know, inward to my face. I think the first time was I grew up doing pageants, and I grew up doing pageants in the South. And so I was typically the only Black contestant. And when the only Black contestant wins, you know, my mom would hightail it to the dressing room to make sure that my stuff wasn't stolen or blah, blah, blah. And so one time she was just so overcome with emotion because my mom is like the original Kris Jenner. And so she was like, oh my gosh, my baby won, blah, 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 taking pictures, and forgot to go and check on my stuff. And so when we went back, all of my stuff was ransacked. My diamond earrings were missing. I never got them back, so they were stolen, not missing. There was hairspray and hair gel all over my clothes. Someone just like really took their loser spirit out on my stuff. And that was really sad, but things can be replaced. And at the end of the day, I had the crown, I had the title, and I had a mom who was so patient and, you know, sitting with me and explaining what happened and why. And, you know, we weren't mad. It is what it is. And some people are just really ignorant. The second experience was I also went to an all-white school, and there were these idiot boys sitting in front of me telling racist jokes. And it wasn't just towards white Black people. There were, you know, xenophobic jokes. There were anti-Semitic jokes in their repertoire. They were just really, really dumb. But yeah, I mean, I would say in work and my professional life, where I'm also one of the only ones, I see the microaggressions like, are you really capable? Let me see your credentials. I'm judged on my resume instead of my potential, which I think is common for most women, especially Black women. But yeah, those are those are some of my things. And at the end of the day, how I handle it is just knowing my worth, knowing who I am, you know, knowing whose I am. My faith is really important to me, and not letting ignorant people, you know, get the best of me.
Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, I love that, knowing whose you are. I think that's really important for you, Wynter. Knowing that you have a bigger purpose, that you come from something greater than anything out here in this world. So definitely know whose you are, and not just who you are. I love that, Avia. Thank you. Okay.
I have
Thank you,
one
Avia.
more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you handle going from a pet to a threat when you become too good and become a threat?
Ooh, I'd like to take that one. Can I give that a shot?
Yeah.
So basically, this actually happened for me. I came in and I was doing great, as long as I think she was able to keep me like in that little place, that little box that she had me in. What ended up happening is I became too good and I became a threat, and then she began to quote unquote sabotage me. The way I overcame it is I made sure that I was on top of everything, and I did a lot of covering my behind, you know what I mean? And making sure that I had everything documented and so forth. But that's in the workplace. I would love to hear, like Naisha, I know I talked to you about it, and you said that you had some stuff. But for me, it just was work hard. After that, it was cover my butt and work hard. What about you, Naisha? Where you go from pet to threat?
Yeah, no, I totally can relate to exactly what you're saying through mentorship. I mean, over time, when people are wired to work really hard, like yourself, Wynter, you're young, you know, you're ambitious, you have your North Star in front of you, which is, you know, competitive horse racing, right? And barrel racing. I'm gonna get this by the end of this.
Yes.
This call, barrel racing. I'm fascinated by it. And you being a softball player, you're obviously, you enjoy team sports and you enjoy that competitive aspect of your life. You know, I totally relate to that. I grew up in playing sports, martial arts. I played softball, played soccer. You know, I can totally relate to that. And mentorship is something that is extremely important. And I took on a mentor, probably when I was 19. And he was a white male of French descent, as I'm a chef. And, you know, in culinary school, they tell you to be the best, you have to work in the white tablecloth, fine dining restaurants, and it's for the elite, and that is the best. And, you know, and as a young girl, I mean, I went to culinary school when I was 17, and I had to assimilate and show up in a lot of rooms where for sure I wasn't welcome. For sure I felt like, you know, is there something on my face? Like, why is everyone like, why am I the attention, you know? And I just want to belong. I just want to be here and be comfortable in my skin just like everyone else, you know? And so I felt that at a really young age, but I was aware of it, you know? And it's like, you know, the proverbial you can choose two different mindsets. It's like you show up and you show out, you know, for people. And that for me has been that's what gets my heart racing. You know, when I walk into rooms, when I have meetings, when I have imposter syndrome at times, when I feel like, oh my God, like, you know, I've been looking up to these French chefs for the last 15 years. I have their cookbooks on my shelf, and now I'm going to sit on a panel with them and look them in the eye, and they're going to hear my opinion. Like, do I belong here? And so, you know, I think back to the mentorship piece, you know, when my mentor started to see that I was excelling, you know, and having my own restaurants and getting investors and people wanted to buy into my ideas and my legacy of life, I believe that he saw me as a threat because it didn't feel comfortable anymore. And, you know, and that's about trusting your intuition, your gut, and, you know, really excelling for yourself. And I think the key thing that is so important that keeps coming up in this topic of conversation is knowing who you are. And, you know, I call it my North Star. For me, it's food legacy. You know, I want to leave this place a better place when I'm not on it anymore. And that is through representation of food and inclusion and having, you know, because food in my world can be a weapon or it can be love, you know. and underserved communities a lot. I'm a born and raised LA girl, so I understand. Both my parents are from LA, grew up in Inglewood. I understand what you're saying about Compton and wanting to show out for Compton, because there's a big group behind you that want to do the same. So you have that full legacy of life in front of you to do that, and you have a big support team that is going to look out for you along the way. And Nicole says that your network is your net worth. And I really respect that statement a lot, because that's just what's opened doors for me, and what I learn every single day. It's like who who you're associating with, how you choose to do your life when you wake up in the morning, when you go to bed, like Jasmine said, having an agenda, that's been a saving grace for me, because busy people are the successful ones, and
right.
So you guys stay pushing, but I say, that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, I also want to I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry about that. I'm one of those people, I get a thought and then it has to come out. But I wanted to also follow up with you. When you become a threat, it's not so much knowing who you are. At that point, you're on the right track.
Right.
So when you become that person that they're now hating on, keep going. Work harder. Give them something more to talk about. Be a giver, okay? Because they have all these things in the world, right? They have Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, for everyone. We have it. Facebook, all of these things to do. And if they're sitting back spending their time talking about you, you're doing something right. So be a giver. Work harder, and give them more to talk about. You don't want them to get bored. So just get better. And that's just what it is. Because you're a threat at this point. And it's only because you're doing great. You're not a violent person. You're no reason to be a threat other than the fact that you're a Black woman doing better than others.
Right. So
that's all I have to say. But I think that Naisha's advice is really good too. And I think everybody has amazing advice. We all handle it differently,
Right.
So anything else? Any others? We good?
Yeah, we're good. Like all the questions that I asked, you guys answered them very understanding for me.
Okay, awesome. So, all right, awesome. Glad to hear that.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, Wynter, thank you so much for taking the time. Tiffany, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us as well. You've just raised an amazing and beautiful young lady.
Thank you.
And Chanel, we want to thank you too for taking the time to offer some advice, and obviously CI team, good to see you guys all here too. Wynter, we are just excited to see you on this journey and your next steps. We know that there are just great things that are coming your way, and we hope that this insight and some tips will just help you on your journey. But before we completely wrap up, we know that people are going to be watching this recording. We want to make sure that we are setting you up for success and showing as much support and love as we can. So for those that are watching, that end up watching this recording, what does support look like? What can people do to support you on this journey?
So me, I really just appreciate the views and the sharing of my story. I really don't trip over the money or care about the money, just positive vibes going my way to my Instagram. If you want to text me, I'm a nice person. If you want to DM me, I'm a nice person. Email me, whatever you want to do, just you can talk to me. I'm here for you, and I'll be willing to hear you guys' experience and stuff of racism or even discrimination in a work field that's dominantly all a certain race. So I'm gonna say all a certain race of white people, and you're the only African-American person in there. I just want to hear your story and how did you cope with it or deal with it to move on. And if you guys want to reach out to me, my Instagram is Wynter with 3 T's. It's Wynter, WYNTTTER. My Facebook is Wynter Floyd, WYNTER, Floyd, FLOID. And if you just want to just reach out to me, my email is also in my bio. You guys can contact me through there.
We are going to put all links and everything in the bio, so you guys can all reach out to her and follow her on Instagram. I think another way that we really want Wynter to be supported is we want a contact. We need contacts there for her. If you're not familiar with the Fresno area, it is a predominantly white environment. The school doesn't have very many students of color. And so what we really would love is for just to have her have a contact there, allies, other Black people, someone there that she can lean on or she can call if God forbid there's any other case of emergency. We also need, as you know, she's looking to buy a horse at the end of the year. So any financial donations that you have would be great, because I understanding that not just buying the horse, but maintaining everything for the horse is where it's most expensive. So we're going to drop, she has a GoFundMe. We're going to drop that below. And if you guys have anything else that you want to donate, you know, we need sustaining costs. We need to like pay general operating costs and all this stuff. So feel free to donate to us as well. And if you want to follow Chanel, your Instagram is Cowgirl Chanel, right? Or okay, everybody.
Yes, that's Cowgirl Chanel. Yes.
Okay, everybody's Instagram, everybody's contact information is below. And if you want to reach out to Wynter, like she said, DM her. She definitely responded to mine. I have not yet actually met Wynter. I just saw her story and I was super inspired, and I was like, people need to know who she is, because this is something that you are breaking a ceiling. What is it called? The glass ceiling. You're shattering, you're breaking barriers. And if we can help support you in any way, shape, or form, you let us know. Like Jasmine said, we'll pull up if we need to. We'll pull up.
Miss Nicole, we definitely need sponsors, because Wynter doesn't pay for the portion. I pay for it.
Yeah.
So it's a very expensive sport. Very expensive.
It is a very expensive sport. I did learn that. So you guys, we are really trying to get as much support, financial support, and emotional support there. She needs a place to, there is a belief, if I'm not mistaken, you also need a place to cover, you're looking for an off-site facility for your horse, right? Because,
yes.
Yeah, the stall that they gave her, you guys, anyone watching this recording, the stall that they gave her wasn't the best. In fact, her horse would be exposed to the elements 24/7, and her horse is not accustomed to that. And getting a new horse, we don't want them to be accustomed to that either, or even think that that's the way they go. So we're looking for a place where she can store her horse off-site, off the Fresno campus. We also want to be able to put cameras inside of her stall so we can make sure that the horse is always safe, and she can just check in on it, maybe through apps on the phone. And we're also looking for a place where she can ride and practice in peace, maybe where she doesn't have somebody standing at the back kind of doing this, or the little slide comments, because how she's going to get great is by practicing. So she needs a safe space to do that. So if you guys have any information on how you can, or any advice, or anybody that you know there, reach out to us at info@thecollectiveidentity.org. All emails and links and everything will be below. And we will hopefully get a great follow-up story from you, Wynter, and, you know, nobody will have to pull up. We'll be at the graduation loud and rowdy, just like always, and at least I will. I promise you I'll be the loud one. And other than that, thank you guys so much for attending. Any last-minute advice, comments, questions, concerns for anyone?
Do it, Wynter.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to everyone that showed up in the Zoom meeting, and for those that will be watching. This means so much to me. I really appreciate it, because not only am I sitting here with beautiful women, I'm sitting here with African American women, and I'm loving this shade, and I'm really just enjoying it. And all your advice is like uplifting me right now.
Good.
Thank you. We uplift you because you are so amazing, and we want you to thrive, honey. We want you to put black girl magic all over that barrel racing. Okay.
Thank you.
Wynter, I want to say, way to be a pioneer.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a tough road for a pioneer, and this sport takes courage, and you inspire me as well. Okay.
Thank you. You do as well, Chanel. You inspire me too. You dominated in both fields, so not just one, but both.
Yeah. You guys just remember the grind isn't sexy. It's not. We were talking about that, Naisha, earlier. It's not fun sometimes to be the trailblazer and to be the one. So it's really important that you have support, which is why we're here, because it's not always going to be fun, but you can do it because you have done it. So yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming. Everybody say bye.
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 Thank you, guys.
You guys, thank you.